room is louder when you're gone. Every clock ticks like it's wrong. I hear your name in passing cars and half-forgotten radio songs. Your absence hums beneath my skin, a low note I can't tune out. It's everywhere I've ever been, but never where I am now. Silence isn't empty here, it's filled with everything we were. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the echo after love breaks down. A quiet scream I never made, a record skipping on your name. It wouldn't fade, it wouldn't drown, it'd follow me through every town. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the loudest one I've found. Your ghost still walks through midnight talks I never meant to keep. I sleep with words I never said, still burning underneath. I turn the volume of my life down just to feel you near. But every song I try to play brings back the way you disappeared. I trade the noise of being strong just to hear where we went wrong. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the echo after love breaks down. A quiet scream I never make, a record skipping on your name. It wouldn't fade, it wouldn't drown, it'd follow me through every town. If missing you had a sound, it'd be the loudest one I've found. Maybe one day I'll learn the tune of living life without you. But right now, every beat I hear still thinks that you're supposed to be here. If missing you had a sound, I'd finally let it out. I'd let it shake, I'd let it cry, till the silence learns goodbye. It won't define me, but right now it's teaching me how to feel it out. If missing you had a sound, I'd turn it down, but not yet now, until the quiet learns my name. I'll listen to the love that remains. I talked to you in paragraphs, you answered me in signs. I kept 1,000 feelings, you kept crossing lines. I watched your eyes grow distant, still called it just a phase. I stayed and stitched the silence, you slowly walked away. I thought love meant waiting. what my heart's filled when yours went quiet on me. I read between your pauses like they were written truths. I blame myself for questions you never wanted to choose. Every unfound you whispered was a door you closed. I was holding all the weight of a love you let go. You didn't break me loudly, you faded soft and slow. I lost you in the quiet before I even knew. This is what my heart's filled when yours went quiet on me. I cried in full colors, you lived in grayscale dreams. I reached for your shadow, you slipped out of reach. This is what my heart spilled when yours went quiet on me. Maybe some hearts love deeper, maybe some hearts hide, but silence is still leaving, even if no one cries. I won't beg for echoes from a voice that chose to fade. I'm done pouring my soul into love that won't stay. This is what my heart spilled, but I'm cleaning it up now. I won't apologize for loving too loud. If your quiet was freedom and my pain was the cost, but I found my voice again in everything I lost. Next time my heart speaks, it won't speak alone. Learned your name in heartbeats, not in words we used to say. Every silence had a rhythm, only I could feel that way. You never left your footsteps on the floor or on the street, but you settled somewhere deeper where my breath and blood still meet. I don't hear you when I'm calling, I don't see you when I turn, but my body keeps on knowing every place you didn't burn. Your memory sleeps in my pulse like it never learned to go. Every beat repeats the moment I was loving you alone. I don't cry the way I used to, I don't break, I just exist. Your memory sleeps in my pulse like a secret I can't dismiss. I fold the days like letters, never sent but never gone. I speak your name in whispers when the night is holding on. You don't haunt my dreams anymore. You don't call me in my sleep. You just stay beneath the surface where my heart refuses peace. I'm forgiven what you couldn't. I've released what I can bear. But some love lives in the body, even when the mind's repaired. Your memory sleeps in my pulse, soft and steady, never loud. It doesn't hurt the way it did then. It just weighs me like a cloud. I moved on in all the right ways. Still there's something I can't lose. Your memory sleeps in my pulse, like a truth I didn't choose. Maybe love is not a feeling. Maybe it's a mark in time. Something written in the nerve ends. Something living past goodbye. If I ever stop remembering, if my heart forgets its role, I'll still feel you in the echo of the life inside my soul. Your memory sleeps in my pulse, but it doesn't own me now. I can carry what we were without asking myself how. I won't beg the past to stay here. I won't chase what I outgrew. Your memory sleeps in my pulse, but my future beats brand new. I don't need you to be near me. My heart remembers enough. Feels wider than it should, like it's missing something good. Every chair knows how you sat, every corner whispers back. I didn't break when you walked out. I stayed too calm, I stayed too proud. But now the quiet hits too deep, like pain learning how to breathe. I thought the hurt would fade with time, but it learned my daily life. Everything hurts where you used to be. Every space remembers you and me. Even joy feels incomplete, like it's standing on weak knees. I don't cry, I don't fall apart. I just take in every part. Everything hurts where you used to be, and I don't know who I'm meant to be. Your name doesn't break my chest, it just lingers and never rests. Like a bruise I learned to hide under moments I survive. I pass the places we once knew. They feel empty, dressed as new. I smile like I've healed enough, but healing's not the same as love. I don't miss you like before. I miss the life I felt with you. Everything hurts where you used to be. Even laughter sounds too thin. Every dream lost gravity when you weren't there to lean in. I don't scream, I don't fall apart. I just carry the aftershock. Everything hurts where you used to be. Like my heart forgot how not to need. Maybe pain is love with nowhere to go. Maybe letting go is learning it slow. I don't want you back inside my days. I just want the hurting to change its shape. Everything hurts where you used to be, but it's softer than it was before. I can breathe through the memory. I don't collapse on the floor. I survived what I couldn't see. I outgrew the version of me. Everything hurts where you used to be, but I'm still here, and that's healing. Some wounds don't close, they just stop bleeding. You stopped asking how my days had been, but somehow still knew when I cave in. The room got loud with things unsaid while you slept peaceful in your head. I spoke in pauses, you looked away, like distance was something you learned to say. I felt smaller every time you answered love with borrowed time. You never raised your voice or left a trace, but absence started wearing your face. Your silence learned my name, said it softly every time you turned away. You knew exactly where I'd break, silence learn my name, but I won't answer it the same. I won't chase echoes down the hall or beg for words you won't recall. You taught me lost without a sound, but I'm the one still standing now. Your silence learned my name. Now I'm learning how to walk away. I won't wait where nothing speaks. Some goodbyes are quiet, but they still leave. Trace the lines where your hand once lay. Every corner whispers of yesterday. The laughter froze before it bloomed. Now empty rooms are all I've assumed. I replay the nights that never came, the words we never said, the unspoken flame. Even the silence held a weight of all the love we couldn't translate. I keep reaching for shadows you left. Every almost tears me to theft. What we almost were still hurts. The echoes of us feel the worst. Moments that slip through our hands, promises we didn't understand. I still feel you in every start, in the quiet breaking of my heart. What we almost were still hurts. It leaves me standing in reverse. I walk past places we could have known. Each step reminds me I'm alone. Your smile lingers in fading light. I chase it through the lonely night. Every plan that never came true, every dream I shared with you. Even the stars seem to pretend that some things just don't ever end. I hold the pieces of our might have been, learning how to let go within. What we almost were still hurts. The echoes of us feel the worst. Moments that slip through our hands, promises we didn't understand. I still feel you in every start, in the quiet breaking of my heart. What we almost were still hurts. It leaves me standing in reverse. Maybe time will dull the ache, but some memories never break. I forgive the love we left unsaid, and cradle every tear I've shed. What we almost were still hurts, but I'm learning life can still assign strength in places you couldn't stay, love in ways that won't decay. Even if the past calls my name, I can rise from the hurt and pain. What we almost were still hurts. But I'll live beyond the tonight. Carry the almost out of sight. Kept my phone on silent loud. Every breath was hoping you'd come around. The clock learned how to lie to me, saying time would heal eventually. I wore your absence like a coat, too heavy for the nights I chose. Every maybe kept me still, every promise never fulfilled. I asked the dark how long to stay. It whispered you're allowed to walk away. It was the night I stopped waiting, stopped believing love needs breaking. I laid your name down on the floor, didn't need it anymore. I watched the stars not care at all, and felt my heart begin to fall free. It was the night I stopped waiting and finally chose me. I found myself in quiet air, no more pretending you were there. Your memory lost its hold when I stopped doing what I was told. I forgave the girl I used to be for begging love to notice me. I let the silence speak its truth, that I was more than passing through. I saw my worth in the dim light when I stopped calling your name that night. It was the night I stopped waiting, stopped translating your hesitation. I closed the door without a sound, left my tears on safer ground. I watched the moon keep moving on, and learned my life was still my own. It was the night I stopped waiting and stepped into my dawn. Maybe love will find me new, not in pieces, not confused. But even if it doesn't stay, I won't beg my heart away. It was the night I stopped waiting, turned the hurt into a statement. I don't need you to choose me now. I know who I am without. I breathe in deep, let go of it. I don't chase ghosts, I let them in. It was the night I stopped waiting, and I won again. The night didn't end in goodbye, it ended with me still alive. I was still learning how to breathe with your name tangled in my sleep. Every promise half unsaid, still hanging in the words we never meant. I built tomorrow in my head with fragile hope and borrowed plans. You were already closing doors while I was standing where we began. I thought silence meant hold on, didn't know it meant goodbye. I was counting all our reasons while you were learning how to lie. You left before I was ready, before my heart knew how to fall. I was still choosing you daily. You were already done with us all. You left me mid-sentence, mid-dream, like love was a page you could tell. I stayed where the truth was breaking. You left before I could prepare. I replay moments like they change, as if time could bend for pain. Your smile felt thinner near the end, but I called it just a phase. I carried us on tired faith while you traveled light and free. I held on to what we were, you held on to who you'd be. I mistook distance for space to heal, didn't see you drifting far. You were already letting go, I was still naming all our scars. You left before I was ready, before I learned to stand alone. I was still fixing what we broke. You were already moving on. You left me loving the memory while you erased the sound of my name. I stayed to grieve what we could have been. You left without feeling the same. Maybe I love the future too much, more than the truth in your eyes. Maybe I stayed where I felt safe while you chose a different life. I won't beg time to bring you back or blame myself anymore, but it still hurts to know you left before my heart closed the door. You left before I was ready, but I'm learning how to heal. I won't chase ghosts of yesterday or doubt the pain I feel. You left before I was ready, but I stayed long enough to grow. I love deeper than you ever knew, and now I finally let you go. I wasn't ready when you left, but I'll be ready for myself. Stopped checking my phone at night, stopped hoping you'd feel it too. The room stayed the same somehow, but I learned how to breathe without you. Your name stopped hidden like glass when silence filled every space. I didn't rush to feel okay, I let time take its place. didn't post my strength online, didn't need applause or proof. I fell apart in private rooms and stitched myself with truth. I healed quietly without you, no dramatic last goodbye, just 1,000 small decisions not to ask you why. I learned to hold my own heart when yours slipped out of view. I didn't win, I didn't lose, I healed quietly without you. I wore my sadness like a coat till it didn't fit my skin. I forgave the nights I stayed for love that never settled in. Your memory softened its voice, stop calling me by pain. It visits now like an old song I don't need to change. I stopped rewriting history, stopped begging it to bend. Some chapters don't need closure, just a gentle end. I healed quietly without you, while the world kept moving on. I found peace in ordinary days where your shadow was gone. I learned I wasn't broken, just human, bruised and true. I didn't rise from heartbreak loud, I healed quietly without you. Maybe love isn't forever, maybe it's a season we survive. You were part of who I was, not who I'd be for life. I don't hate you for leaving or myself for staying through. I thank the girl who stayed soft and still made it through. I healed quietly without you, no revenge, no grand display, just choosing myself again in a slower, braver way. I still believe in something real, I just believe in me now too. If you ever wonder how I'm doing, I healed quietly without you. Some miracles happen silently, and I became one too. Confuse chaos with passion, thought the pain meant it was real. I memorized your cold silences, like that's how love should feel. Stayed where I was shrinking, called it loyalty and grace. I didn't know love could be quiet without leaving a trace. I blame my heart for breaking, presence of our love. Stop calling pain deep. I learned real love feels steady, not something you have to keep. Your absence taught me gently what presence should be like. Someone who stays in the daylight, not just holds you at night. I don't flinch when someone's care, or wait for the fall. I finally know love doesn't need to hurt at all. Love doesn't hurt like this anymore. It doesn't punish honesty. It doesn't make you smaller for wanting what you need. Love doesn't ask for silence when your heart needs to speak. If it costs you your own peace, then it isn't love, not to me. I forgive the girl who stayed too long. She was doing what she knew. She believed love meant endurance until she finally grew. Now I leave at the first sign of love dressed up as pain. I choose calm over chaos again and again. Love doesn't hurt like this anymore. It feels safe, it feels kind. It doesn't make you question your worth or lose your mind. Love meets you where you are and doesn't make you beg for more. I know the truth, but my heart ignored. Love doesn't hurt like this anymore. I didn't lose love, I learned what it's for. We used to speak in colors soft and bright. Now every sentence fades into the night. Your eyes once met mine halfway home. Now they wander like they're on their own. I try to reach you, but the air just shakes. Like silence knows the sound we never made. It's the quiet between our words where all the hurt begins to grow. The things we never said are the ones that between untouched hands. We smile like strangers trying to pretend. I hear the distance in your soft I'm fine. A fading truth buried in your sighs. We keep pretending nothing's out of place, but silence draws a line we cannot trace. It's the quiet between our words where all the hurt begins to grow. The things we never said are the ones that echo loudest now. You're standing right beside me, but you feel a world away. In the quiet between our words, we slowly lost our way. If love is slipping through the spaces, tell me how we ever save this. Are we too far to speak the truth, or are we scared of what we'll lose? It's the quiet between our words, the place where we forgot to stay. If only we had spoken, maybe love wouldn't slip away. You're here, but I can't reach you, no matter how I pray. In the quiet between our words, we whispered our last goodbye that day. And another silence is all we have left to say. You walked in like a summer breeze, soft and warm, you unfolded me. I didn't know what falling meant till you wrote when my heartbeat said. But even in your smile I saw a trace of something holding back you couldn't face. We were almost meant to stay, almost found it forever in the way. Your hand fit perfectly in mine, like stars aligning out of time, but almost isn't close enough to keep a breaking heart in love. We were almost meant to stay, but almost slipped away. Your voice still lingers in my mind, a fading note I can't rewind. We built a world of maybe soon, but promises collapse too soon. I try to hold the pieces of your fear, but you kept walking, even standing here. We were almost meant to stay, almost found it forever in the way. Your hand fit perfectly in mine, like stars aligning. Left the porch light on for you, like I always used to do. Your footsteps never reached my door, but hope kept whispering maybe more. I sat with shadows on the stairs, counting promises still in the air. Every quiet hour felt like truth, saying I was waiting more than you. And I held on even when the night turned cold, still believing in stories we never told. Now there are tears on the welcome mat, where your smile used to land when you came back. Every drop of memory we couldn't save, every trace of path you never stayed. You left silence where your heartbeat set. Now the only thing returning is the past, and I'm standing here with tears on the welcome mat, trying to accept that you're not coming back. Your coffee cup is by the sink, still holding echoes of the way you'd think. I kept your sweater on the chair, like you'd walk in and still be there. Love used to bloom in simple things, now it feels like winter in the spring. I sweep the floor but somehow fall into pieces that still miss your call. And I'm learning how to breathe without your name, even though the air will never be the same. Now there are tears on the welcome mat, where your smile used to land when you came back. Every drop of memory we couldn't save, every trace of path you never stayed. You left silence where your heartbeat set. Now the only thing returning is the past, and I'm standing here with tears on the welcome mat, trying to accept that you're not coming back. Maybe love was meant to fade slow, maybe letting go is something we grow. But I still wait for footsteps that won't come, and blame the dawn for rising like it was. Now there are tears on the welcome mat, and I'm learning to live with the ache of that. Every heartbeat still wants to believe, but your goodbye never learned to leave. You left shadows where you left to say. Now I'm holding what's left of what we had, still standing here with tears on the welcome mat, finally whispering that you're not coming back. The porch light dims, but my heart still lets you in. I held your promises like sunlight in my hands, believed every word you whispered in the dark. You painted futures on the walls of my heart, then walked away before they even had a chance. I tried to stand where your shadow used to be, but every step just pulled another piece of me. You taught me how to break how to break. Your memory lingers like fingerprints on glass, a quiet bruise that never fades with time. I try to stitch the silence back into my life, but every thread keeps pulling me to the past. I hear the echoes of the love you didn't keep, and somewhere in them I lose another piece. You taught me how to break, how to fall with no one left to catch the ache, how to breathe when every breath begins to shake. I didn't learn to leave, but you taught me how to break. Maybe healing starts where all the truth is raw, where I admit you never loved me after all. But even now I feel the fracture when I speak your name, a lesson carved too deep to ever fade. You taught me how to break, but now I'm learning how to turn the pain to grace, how to stand without the pieces you erased. I didn't learn to stay, and I won't let you teach me how to So here I am, gathering the parts you left behind, finding strength inside the cracks you carved in time. You held me softly when the lights were low, only when the world had no need to know. Your whispers lived where shadows stayed, a hidden truth you never let me name. I learned to breathe in all your half-kept dreams, and hoped one day you'd choose to be seen. But love can't bloom where no one sees it grow, and I was waiting for a heart you couldn't show. You left me only in the quiet, where no one else could hear your truth. You kept me somewhere safe and silent, but silence never felt like proof. I needed more I trace the outlines of your secret fears, the parts you hid behind unspoken tears. You let me in, but only halfway through, enough to feel you, never enough to choose. And I kept hoping we would find our light, but you stayed folded in the safety of the night. And every promise faded before it reached your lips, a love you held too loosely in your fingertips. You loved me only in the quiet, where no one else could hear your truth. You kept me somewhere safe and silent, but silence never felt like proof. I needed more than stolen moments, more than nights you wouldn't own. You loved me only in the quiet and left me loud in being alone. Maybe you were scared of who we could become. Maybe I was scared of living half loved. But hearts weren't made for hidden rooms, and I broke trying to fit inside yours too. You loved me only in the quiet, but I'm learning how to hear my voice, finding strength in the ones who see me, not the ones afraid to make a choice. I'm leaving all the whispered shadows and the love you never let unfold. You loved me only in the quiet, but I need more than being half told. So I step into the light, where love won't need the night. I watched the doorway after you were gone, thinking maybe you'd remember what we lost. Your jacket still hangs where you left your name, a quiet echo of the love you couldn't claim. I gather pieces of the things we tried, but some hearts break too gently to survive. And I keep searching for the reasons why you let go long before you said goodbye. 'Cause I had a heart too soft for your goodbye, too open for the way you chose to leave my side. You slipped away like someone fading from a dream, leaving me with promises you never meant to keep. myself for your goodbye. The nights are longer than they used to be, filled with shadows of the way you looked at me. I trace your memory like a fragile line. One wrong touch and it all unwinds. You taught me gently how to lose, but never how to stop loving you. And I still stumble where your silence lies, trying to understand the reasons in your eyes. 'Cause I had a heart too soft for your goodbye, too open for the way you chose to leave my side. You slipped away like someone fading from a dream, leaving me with promises you never meant to keep. I held on even when the truth was hard to find, but I had a heart too soft for your goodbye. Maybe love was never meant to stay. Maybe we were built to fall away, but still I break in all the quiet places where your absence paints its empty traces. 'Cause I had a heart too soft for your goodbye, but now I'm learning how to breathe without the lies. You drifted off like a whisper losing wind, but I'm finding strength in where your shadows end. I held on even when you left me wondering why, but no more, this heart's not soft for your goodbye. I close the door you left behind and take my softness back this time. You said goodbye like it meant nothing, but the silence cut so deep. I tried to smile through the breaking, pretending I could sleep. The clock kept whispering midnight as I replayed your last words slow. You left without a reason, and I'm still learning to let go. If love could echo past the pain, would you call my name again? If tomorrow never hurt us, would our voices fade in vain? Would the stars forget the story that our hearts once tried to say? where the sunlight used to fall. The scent of rain reminds me you once met everything at all. I walk the streets of what we were in the echoes of our past, and every step I take alone still leads me where you last. If I could turn the hurt to sound, would you somehow turn around? If tomorrow never hurt us, would our voices fade in vain? Would the stars forget the story that our hearts once tried to say? If forever lost its promise, would your memory still stay true? If tomorrow never hurt us, I'd still be calling out for you. Some nights I whisper to the sky just to feel like you reply, but the wind only carries tears of words you'll never hear. If tomorrow never hurt us, would love still find a way through time? Would the silence keep our secrets or erase what once was mine? If tomorrow turned to shadows and the dawn forgot your name too, I'd still be waiting in the dark, still calling out for you. So if tomorrow never hurt us, I'd still believe it new. Left your name in every room. Your laughter haunts the afternoon. I reach for air, but all I find are echoes of the things we left behind. The walls still hum our favorite song, but it's been quiet for too long, and I don't know how to move on. There's an empty space where my heart once was. You took the light, left only dust. Every dream still whispers us in the silence after love. I still search the dark because that's where my heart once was. The clock still ticks, but time feels wrong. Each minute drags the night too long. Your ghost sits where the sunlight fades, and I keep talking to your shade. I'm learning how to breathe again. That's where my heart once was. If healing means forgetting you, then I'd rather live with every bruise. 'Cause missing you is what feels true, and I don't know who I'd be without you. There's an empty space where my heart once was. You took the light, left only dust. And though the world keeps turning fast, my love for you still holds me back. Forever lives inside the past, where my heart once was. I still go back to where my heart once was. You turned away before the dawn. The room still breathed when you were gone. Your coat still hangs, the clock still hums, but nothing sounds like when love becomes numb. I tried to speak, but my voice was air. You left your silence everywhere. It was a silent goodbye, no tears, no fight, just the fading glow. Just your silent goodbye. The coffee's cold, your chair still turned, the candle flickers, memories burn. I read our text till morning. Every word now feels the same. You didn't need to say a word. Your quiet heart was all I heard. It was a silent goodbye, no tears, no fight, just the fading glow of our last night. You walked away, the world stood still, and I'm here learning how to feel. No quiet pain. You slipped away with no farewell and left a silence I know too well. I whisper stay, but you pass me by with your silent goodbye. And in that hush I realize some endings never need goodbyes. Kept the quiet pieces of you folded deep in pockets of my heart. Your shadow lingers in the doorway like a truth that tears me apart. I trace the silence on my skin where your warmth used to live. Every breath still stumbles over all the things we couldn't give. I tried to hold the light you left, but it slips right through my hands. I learned that loving you meant learning how to break and stand. All the unsaid things between my ribs are trembling like a fault line in the dark. Every word I never spoke still beating softly in my heart. You were the ache I couldn't name, the goodbye I never chose, and now I walk with empty echoes where you're faded and memory grows. Your laughter still haunts my windows like a ghost refusing to go. I map the spaces of our distance in the parts of me you'll never know. I held on to the almost moments where we nearly learned to stay, but love that's halfway to the finish still finds a reason to slip away. the softness and left only what remains. A quiet girl, a quiet heartbreak, and the ghost of your name. All the unsaid things between my ribs still whisper like a prayer I can't release. Every memory of you dissolves but never fully gives me peace. You were the ache I couldn't name, the wound I learned to breathe through, and in the hollow of my chest lives a love that once was you. Maybe someday the silence will finally let me go, but till then you stay unspoken in the deepest part I never showed. I didn't know the shape of quiet until your voice was gone. I used to fill my days with you, nowadays just carry on. Your coffee cup still by the sink, like you're running late, but I stopped waiting at the door when hope learned how to break. You never meant to leave me cold, but love taught lessons it never told. But not our fears. I felt you miles away. You smiled like nothing was wrong. I memorized that face. I tried to hold what wasn't there, like air between my hands. You left me with your absence. That's when I started to understand. Love doesn't always end with tears. Sometimes it leaves you here. Before I don't miss who you became. I miss who I was with you. It was past midnight, phone face down. Your name stayed quiet, no familiar sound. I typed your words, erased them twice, like love was thinking, taking time. The room was full of borrowed air. Your side of the bed still warm somehow. That was the night I realized love was gone, but I was still around. I kept reaching for something true, but every silence sounded like you. It was the night love stopped answering our goodbye. No warning sign, I kept calling out your heart, but it was already offline. I stayed awake, believing you, while love just let me through. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I stayed with the truth. Your jacket hanging by the door, like you'd be back, like before. I replayed moments in my head, looking for the words you never said. You said nothing was wrong at all, but your eyes had learned to leave. I was loving at full volume. You were already on mute with me. You didn't mean to disappear, but love doesn't always stay sincere. It was the night love stopped answering. I heard the echo, not your voice. I begged the past to hold us still, like pain was ever a choice. I kept my heart unlocked for you, but love already moved. Yeah, it was the night love stopped answering, and I finally knew. Now I don't wait for messages that never come. I learned some hearts go silent before they're gone. It was the night love stopped answering, but I survived the sound of none. I stopped calling, what do we but I don't wait anymore. The house still knows the way you stood by the window light, misunderstood. I trace the space you used to fill, like time forgot to stand still. Your laughter faded into walls, still echoes when the evening falls. We weren't broken, just undone, like sentences that lost their tongue. I didn't lose you all at once. You slowly changed the distance. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Corners of love we couldn't realign. Your absence learned my outline too. Now I'm someone I became without you. We don't hurt the way we did before, but we don't fit like we used to anymore. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Not broken, just redesigned. Your name still rests in quiet days, in songs I skip, in words I say. I don't reach out, but still I feel the habit of us. You'll still be real. We grew apart without a fight, just stopped reaching at the same time. Love didn't die, it just withdrew, left me learning how to move. I held on longer than I should, trying to keep us understood. This is the shape of us after goodbye. Softened edges, harder lines. I still remember how we were before the silence took the nerve. We don't ache the way we pulled before, but we don't belong like we used to anymore. This is the shape of us after goodbye. A love that changed but didn't lie. Some endings don't feel like the end, they just stop choosing we again. I forgive us for growing wrong, for staying quiet far too long. This is the shape of us after goodbye. A gentler truth I won't deny. You were a chapter, not my home, but you helped define my soul. I won't wish we stayed still beautiful, just a different light. Didn't vanish, we evolved into who we are when love dissolves. I memorized the sound of maybe, held on to words he never gave me. I stayed polite with all your doubt, called it patience, not burning out. I learned your silence by heart, treated distance like a start. I kept the door unlocked for hope, while you kept finding reasons not to cope. I kept believing time was kind, but it was only passing by. I waited longer than life should, stayed when leaving would have been good. I called it faith, I called it trust, but I was breaking quietly inside us. You didn't ask me to remain, I just mistook delay for pain. I waited longer than life should, and paid the price for being good. I smiled through every half reply, made excuses so you wouldn't try. I lowered needs, I raised my grace, shrank my voice to keep your place. Love became a careful thing, afraid of asking for anything. I was there in every way, but you were only almost staying. I thought endurance meant I cared, but love shouldn't need to be spared. I waited longer than life should, held on longer than anyone would. I turned my ache into belief, called uncertainty relief. You never told me not to stay, you just let tomorrow drift away. I waited longer than life should, and learned too late what love is not. There's a line between hope and delay, between choosing someone and being played. I crossed it thinking I was strong, but strength knows when it's been too long. I waited longer than life should, but I'm done waiting misunderstood. I won't confuse restraint with care, or call absence being there. If love returns, it won't ask to be to bleed. It won't survive on what it needs. I waited longer than life should. Now I leave exactly when I should. Some lessons take their time, but freedom doesn't ask for mine. You left without slamming doors, no final words, no reason why. Your jacket's still by the bedroom floor, like you'd be back before goodbye. I memorized the way you left, by how the room forgot your sound. Even the clock held its own breath when it realized you weren't around. I told myself you just needed time, but time never promised you were mine. I kept the light you turned off, stayed awake in case you came home lost. I learned the dark by heart, so you wouldn't have to find the switch. You moved on without a thought, left me loving what you forgot. I kept the light you turned off, like love was something I could fix. Your name still echoes in my phone, unread messages, unsent truth. I made excuses on my own for all the things you didn't do. I dressed the silence up as hope, cold waiting something brave. But every night I held a glow for a shadow that never stayed. I stayed loyal to what we were. You stayed silent, and that hurt worse. I kept the light you turned off, believed in you when you walked off. I made a home inside the dark, so you wouldn't feel alone. You found peace somewhere else, while I held the night by myself. I kept the light you turned off, until even hope went cold. Maybe love shouldn't beg to stay, or bleed just to be seen. Maybe letting go is learning that choosing me isn't selfish, it's clean. I kept the light you turned off, but I won't wait here anymore. I see now what it cost to love someone who closed the door. If you ever wonder why the room no longer knows your name, I turned the light off for myself and finally walked away. The dark doesn't scare me now. I'm not waiting anymore. You stopped asking how my day had been, just nodded like you already knew. words got smaller, thinner, like love was scared of waking you. I learned the sound of empty space between your sighs and tired eyes. We were still sharing the same bed, but dreaming separate lives. You said nothing was wrong, but silence stayed too long. When love and you became quiet, I felt the distance in your touch. No fights, no tears to cry with, just less and less of us. You didn't leave, you just went still, like love forgot how to speak. When love and you became quiet, it started breaking me. I laughed louder to fill the room, hoped you'd notice something changed. I kept translating all your moves into reasons you might stay. Your phone lit up, your eyes looked down like I was interrupting peace. I was standing right beside you, but somehow begging to be seen. I miss the way you used to care before love turned into when love and you became quiet, I felt alone while holding on. No goodbye, no to like violence, just one slowly gone. You stayed, but not with me. Your heart learned how to leave. When love and you became quiet, it taught me how to grieve. Maybe love shouldn't whisper just to survive, or fade so gently we call it time. If silence is all that love can be, then I'd rather hear myself breathe. Some love ends loud, ours disappeared. I stayed when leaving made more sense. Watch the clock ignore my prayers. Your silence learned my name before I learned how not to care. Every promise lost its tone, every kiss felt slightly gone. I smiled just to keep you near, while disappearing year by year. I let go in slow motion, frame by frame I fell apart, still loving you out of habit, still breaking my own heart. I didn't leave, I faded, and I words you never quote. I let go in slow motion long before you noticed. Your jacket still behind the door, like you might need it once more. I stopped asking where you'd been, started guessing how this ends. I learned to miss you quietly, so you wouldn't feel the change. You were already halfway gone. I just stayed to take the blame. I let go in they gently loosen their hold, and one day you breathe without them and call it closure. Was full of echoes from words we didn't say. I was counting every heartbeat. You were already away. Your eyes stopped listening, your hands let go of mine. I felt the ending coming, but pretended we had time. You left before the song ended, before the last refrain. I was still learning the done with the pain. You didn't say you were leaving, you just stopped pretending. I kept singing for us. You left before the song ended. Your laugh became a memory, too soft to call back home. I replayed every moment, like it might change the tone. I loved you in the quiet parts, between the lines you missed. You heard an exit sign, I heard one final kiss. You left before the song ended, before it could resolve. I was still holding the harmony. You were already gone. You didn't break the silence, you let it do the damage. I kept singing for us. You left before the song ended. Maybe love isn't forever, maybe it's just a verse. You stopped believing in us, I believed it worse. You left before the song ended, but I sang it to the end. I stayed with every lyric, even when you didn't understand. Now the music feels different, but my heart's still open. I didn't lose my voice. You just left before the song ended. Some songs don't fade out, they stop midline, and you learn to breathe in the silence they leave behind. I stayed when the signs were clear, read between what you wouldn't say. You were halfway out the door, I was finding reasons you might stay. Every warning felt like doubt, every doubt I turned to hope. I held the pieces of your heart like they were mine to hold. You were slowly letting go. I was loving you more. I loved you past the point of return, past the lesson I should have learned. I crossed every line I swore I wouldn't, just to keep us from the burn. You stepped back without a word, I stayed until it hurt. I loved you past the point of return, and lost myself first. I memorized your fading touch, like it might come back again. You called it space, I called it trust, but we were standing at the end. Your silence felt rehearsed, mine was breaking underneath. You stopped choosing what we were, I stopped choosing me. I thought love meant staying strong, even when it stayed too long. I loved you past the point of return, past the truth I couldn't face. I kept rebuilding what was gone while you were leaving trace by trace. You never asked me to remain, I just refused to turn. I loved you past the point of return, and that's what made it burn. Maybe love is brave, but not when it erases you. Maybe holding on isn't always proof. I loved you past the point of return, but I won't love that way again. Not where I disappear just to make somebody stay. You were a chapter, not my end, a fire I survived. I loved you past the point of return. Now I'm finally on my side. Some loves don't come back, they teach you where to start. We sat across the kitchen light, like strangers sharing space. You stirred your coffee slowly, wouldn't look me in the face. I felt the distance settle in between what was and what became. We were still saying goodnight, but it didn't sound the same. I held the word forever, like it still meant something true. You were already folding out of everything we knew. And that was the last time I called it us, before the silence won, before your hand stopped reaching, before the damage done. I said we'll be fine tomorrow. You didn't disagree. That was the last time I called it us, and you stopped choosing me. Your jacket stayed by the hallway door, like maybe you'd return. I memorized your quiet steps and every look you wouldn't turn. We weren't fighting anymore, we just stopped trying to win. Love didn't leave in anger, it just thinned and thinned. I kept speaking in plural while you were thinking alone. I was building a future, you were letting it go. That was the last time I called it us, before the air went cold, before I saw the truth in the things you never told. You didn't slam the door, you didn't raise your voice. That was the last time I called it us, before you made your choice. Some endings don't explode, they gently rearrange. You wake up one day and we just feel strange. That was the last time I called it us, but not the last time I cared. I stayed until the feeling was too quiet to repair. Now I speak in I and me, and it finally feels honest. That was the last time I called it us, and the first time I chose myself. Some words carry history, some words let you heal. And the day I stopped saying we was the day it became real. We used to finish each other's sentences at dawn. Now how was your day feels like reciting a foreign song. Your laugh moved to someone else's stories on my feet, while I sit here memorizing the back of your head. The small rituals faded one unnoticed breath at a time. Coffee for two became coffee for one by design. I kept waiting for the moment you'd turn and see that the person you once knew was still right here, still me. I watched us turn into strangers. No dramatic goodbye, just 1,000 tiny deaths beneath the same sky. Your eyes forgot the way they used to find mine. We became polite ghosts in the wreckage of us and mine. I watched it happen, slow like winter arriving. I watched us turn into strangers, still surviving. I stopped reaching for my hand in crowded rooms. I stopped asking why the silence felt like tunes. I traded inside jokes for surface level weather, and I love you became something we don't say together. I replayed every warning sign like film on repeat. The way your later turned permanent, incomplete. I should have fought louder when the distance grew tall, but I let it happen. Watch the writing on the wall. I watched us turn into strangers. No fight, no blame, just erosion disguised as life staying the same. Your voice on the phone lost its warmth overnight. We're civil now, careful, pretending it's alright. I watched it happen like sand slipping through. I watched us turn into strangers, me without you. If I could pause time on the last night we felt like home, I'd whisper every unsaid thing before we turned to stone. But love doesn't warn you when it's quietly packing to leave. It just lets you watch the stranger you once swore you'd never be. And now I carry your absence like a second skin. The stranger you became is the hardest place I've been. I watched us turn into strangers, and I'm still watching the end. Every memory flickers like a signal losing strength. You're happy somewhere new. I hope that much is true. While I'm learning how to live inside the echo of losing you, I watched us turn, I watched us fade into strangers we never thought we'd trade. I watched us turn into strangers, and the strangest part is I still recognize your shadow in every empty heart. dark and I bit my tongue again. Every fear I swallowed felt like saving us from pain. Your breathing next to mine was the only sound I heard. I told myself that quiet love would never need a word. I built a wall of stillness, thick and soft and kind. Thought if nothing ever broke, nothing ever died. I wore that heavy comfort like a blanket made of stone, never seeing how the silence carved us both alone. I thought silence meant safe, like a harbor in the storm, but it was just a slow blade cutting every thread we'd worn. All the ammo case I hid behind my smile became the very reasons we stopped burning for a while. I thought silence meant safe, now the quiet is a grave. You'd ask if I was happy, I'd answer with a nod, while inside me every unsaid storm began to flood. We danced around the edges of the things we couldn't face, pretending calm was courage in its most elegant grace. I watched the distance widen in the pauses we allowed. Every night I chose restraint instead of reaching out. I believed the less I spoke, the less that I could lose, until the love we guarded turned into something we outgrew. I thought silence meant safe, like a promise sealed in glass, but it cracked beneath the weight of everything we never asked. All the nights I let the dark speak louder than my heart became the final chapter where we slowly fell apart. I thought silence meant safe. God, how wrong I was. Now I understand that safety never lives in fear, that love requires voices even when the words feel near. I traded honest thunder for a whisper made of dust, and lost the only person who could ever earn my trust. If I could go back to that bed, I'd scream until it shook. Instead I'm left with echoes of the words I never took. I thought silence meant safe, but it was the thief in disguise, stealing every future from behind my quiet eyes. I'm learning now that courage is the only thing that saves, the kind of love that doesn't die inside a silent grave. No more hiding, no more pretending I'm alright. I thought silence meant safe, but it cost me my life. I thought silence meant safe, now the silence is all I have. when it sounds just like but that. The mornings got colder, though the calendar said spring. Your laugh arrived later and left on quieter wings. We passed the same hallway like ships in the night, still saying I'm fine, while the distance grew wide. I felt the shift in the way you folded the clothes, a little less careful, a little less close. We never named the crack that was forming below, just kept walking forward, pretending we didn't know. We lost each other softly, like rain on a window pane. No thunder, no screaming, just a slow fading stain. You became my outline I could no longer trace. I became the echo of a once familiar face. We lost each other softly, without a trace. The photos stayed up, but the stories went dark. Your favorite sweater now hangs cold in the dark. We stopped reaching across the table at night. The silence felt normal, almost polite. I kept telling myself it was only a phase, that gentle good nights could still carry the flame. But every small step back was a step we both chose, until the love we once carried quietly froze. We lost each other softly, like petals leaving the rose. No violence, no ending, just a gradual close. The future we whispered became a forgotten line. We turned into people who once felt like mine. We lost each other softly, one breath at a time. If I could rewind to the first day the warmth slipped away, I'd pull you back gently and beg you to stay. But love doesn't shout when it starts to depart. It simply stops knocking at the door of your heart. Now I carry the weight of the things we let die in the softest of ways, under the softest of skies. We lost each other softly, but the lesson burns bright. I'll never again love in half-hearted light. I'll speak when it matters, I'll hold when it's real. No more quiet drifting, no more silent appeal. We lost each other softly, but I found how to heal. We lost each other softly, like a song that ends too soon. The softest kind of forever that ended in